But I've got one of our students here, Jerry, joining me tonight. Tonight is about him. He's going to share some of his properties. We've got one in particular. Jerry, if you want to come on up and join me on stage. So tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I married late, started family late. I was about 40 years old, and kind of spent my 20s and 30s doing the musician thing, doing gigs, writing songs, and traveling. Went to Europe and got to do all that kind of stuff, but I realized that all my peers around me were too busy with their families, and I had nothing to do, so I thought, well, I better get on it. So the music industry had turned around so much that it wasn't really about music anymore. It was more about, looks and all that kind of stuff. And I really just kind of felt betrayed by that. So I thought, well, I'm going to lean on my art side of it, and became a graphic designer. And I didn't have a college education for that. I was just doing it just out of my own passion. And some people say you have it or you don't. I just had it, I guess. And some companies picked me up, and more people saw my work, and it just kind of was going from there. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Maybe I can make some money at it. So that's kind of how I entered into the corporate world.
All right. And tell us a little bit about what happened to you when you were in the corporate world that led to you exploring your options here and finding lifestyles.
Well, originally I started out working in the car business. So I worked for Honda for a while. And then as my art got more popular, I started doing that more. And that was probably my first time to work in an office-type environment. So I had to kind of learn the whole office politics dynamic of things and people's feelings and all of this stuff I wasn't used to. So I had to kind of learn that. But then I started realizing I would work really, really hard, and I would get frowned upon. And why am I getting frowned upon? Because you're outdoing us. They don't look good. Well, this is kind of weird. I thought, as you progress, as you perform, you should bonus, right? No. So that was already backwards for me. I was becoming frustrated. But then, long story short, I went through several different jobs where I was the last guy standing because they were laying everybody off. And I thought, well, they can't let everybody go. Someone's got to do the work until there's no work. So that happened to me a few times. I got on with a bigger company, and to this point, I've survived 3 layoffs at the company I'm with currently.
Wow.
And that's always just looming in the background. You're kind of going, man, when's that day coming?
Yeah.
Has anybody else gone through that pain? Anybody got laid off in this room? Not a good feeling, right?
Yeah.
So,
I forgot to mention, one of those times that I dodged was right after I bought my first house.
Oh.
I just bought my first house, and then they started laying everybody off.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I can't keep doing this.
And so you were listening to the radio one day, and what was it that you heard?
Yeah, just driving back and forth to work. I just hear these commercials come on all the time on the radio, and they would talk about the key thing would stick out. He says, does the thought of losing everything in a fraction of the moment it took you to gain it keep you up at night? And I was like, oh yeah. That was really it. But it was around Halloween, and I'm in the garage making these Halloween signs of my son, and there was a show on the weekend with Steve Davis, who used to be in our team. And he touched on the 5 different ways you make money in real estate. And I'm kind of going, well, I thought you had to have a whole lot of money to get started in any of that kind of stuff, and I didn't have it. I mention this all the time. It's my catchphrase. But I came to a week, it was on a Thursday, one of the workshops. John did. And I remember sitting in here. They went through the whole thing, talked about, we got a thing coming up this weekend. And I went into that restroom across the way, and I counted out $103 in my pocket. No 401k, no IRA, a brand new house, and I think I had $1,200 of equity in it. So I had nothing. I was like,
But something clicked that night, and you
Yeah.
definitely
That was
got on
it.
board.
I said, I've got to get out here this weekend, at least find out what it's about. I had gone to so many things. I went to things about hey, we're going to show you how to get all these discounts for these different wholesale places. And I've been to things where it was, hey, it's going to be water treatment systems. I've been suckers for all those things. And I thought, I'm going to come here this weekend, and I'm going to punch holes in this thing. I'm going to find out what it is that they're doing. It's kind of like, what, I'm going to pay money to come here and show them? That's stupid. But I'm desperately hoping that this is legitimate. And the thing that got me thinking, this is probably a more promising thing here, because I just bought my house, and as they were building it, it was going up in value so fast. In 9 months, it took them forever to build it. It was in 2015. It took them forever, a lot of rain. But it was going up faster, and I was looking at how much it was building. I was telling my wife, man, if I could go back, I would have done 2 of these at once. And this was right before I started hearing these commercials about real estate, and I went, maybe they can at least show me how to get 1 or 2 more houses.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I came, listened to Dave.
So we'll touch a little bit on what happened in between that and getting your first house that we're going to talk about tonight. So what were you telling me about just how life happened in the meantime and how you used that time in between? So.
Okay, so I told you I had about $1,200 in equity in my house, and I realized I couldn't do anything with that. But I thought after the 2-day, I became an FFP member, and I was at least getting educated and kind of going through all that information, and I learned pretty fast, hey, if I go get my house reappraised, I can at least probably get to a point where I can drop the PMI off, and that'll at least save me $100 a month, so every little bit counts. So I did that. But then after I did that, I started thinking, I was going, well, wait a minute. I was thinking I had $1,200 in equity based on the old numbers, and it just clicked in my head. I went, wait, we need to go back and look at this again. When I look at it again, I realized, oh, no. There's a whole bunch more equity in there now because I'm looking at new numbers here.
Right.
So I got all excited, and I'm thinking, all right, hey, this Christmas, man, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna get in and become a challenge member. So I did that, and we went and did a cash out refi. Got the money out. I was ready to do my thing, and we got pregnant. And my wife says, hey, I want to stay at home for the next 2 years to raise the kid. And I was going, that's a lot of income I want to use to get All right, so there was that challenge. We had to go through that. And then COVID happened. Well, we already planned on being at home with a baby, right? So things were good for us. I feel like I'm in the rocket. I'm sitting on the launch pad, and I'm going, let's go. Man, I'm ready. So I spent a year going through all of my information I got in our challenge membership that he'll tell you about this weekend. And I was just loaded with information. I had nothing but time on my hand to sit there and just make these binders full of notes. And I'm just going, man, I'm so ready. And I probably wore these guys out up here, calling and bringing Lori my charts and saying, I'm going to do this and that. She's like, hey, just take it easy. And anyways, COVID's happened. I'm like, well, I guess there's no point in doing anything right now. So I just kind of sit back. And then we started looking back and realizing during COVID, it was just going.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I went, now's the time.
Yeah.
I got to get us both on board, and we got to go.
Yeah.
I'm tired of sitting in this rocket.
And so you used that time in between to get yourself educated and really get your mind wrapped around the concepts that we teach.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that when you were able to, you did another refi on your house?
No. At that point, we had the money ready to go, so we were just looking. So I'm just looking for the right deal, and I was saying before, I was kind of like I think there's a line in one of the Batman movies, like the Joker says, "Hey,
we're not allowed to refer to DC, only Marvel here, sir.
Okay.
Rules after a while.
If there's a car going down the road and I'm going to chase it, my wife would say, "What are you going to do when you get it?" So she would kind of hold me back a little bit. We'd balance each other out. But we had to make a move. And I was looking all over the place. I made some trips. I know they say you don't have to drive these places, but I had time on my hands. There was nothing to do. I was just sitting around. I'm going, I got to find something. So I walked several properties, and I thought, okay, this is what I was expecting, but we're going to have to pull the trigger on one of these things. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not looking for the perfect thing. I need something. So let's just jump in and get started. So we did that. And we looked around for a while, but then we were
You
contacted.
ran the numbers by your mentor to make
Yes,
sure
we
deal
ran the
worked.
numbers
That's
by
right.
the mentor. We finally found a deal to start on, and this one just happened to be a new construction deal, which I had no plans at all to do.
So that was the first house. And
Yeah, that was the
when
first
was
house.
that?
That was in Livingston, Texas, and we began that project in May of last year,
Okay.
and this took about 6 months to build, and we closed on that one in November. There was a manhole in the middle of the driveway, so we had to get rid of that. That was a problem.
Okay. And then the house we're talking about tonight
Yes.
is on Glen Lock.
On this one,
And yeah,
right?
let's tell us when you got that one.
This
Got a
one-
before and after picture.
Right.
up
This
here,
one is in
so-
Houston. So a year later, after we'd done our original cash out, because they said, well, you can't do another one for at least a year. Remember, everything kept going up. And I thought, well, we got to wait a while. I went and looked at it. It had gone up so much. I went, let's go do it again. So we cashed out on our house again. And that's okay. No more after that. And we pulled that money out, and we found this deal pretty quick.
How'd you find this property?
We found this one in March. It was presented to us by John Johnson.
Okay, one of the Lifestyles realtors.
Yeah.
then. Okay, cool. So got some before and afters there. Is that real hardwood? Did you refinish?
It's real hardwood.
Okay.
This house was partially rehabbed. It had been sitting since 2019. They had done some work, a little bit of foundation. They had done a roof on it. And I think the story I'd heard was it was a group of people working on several houses, and they had an opportunity came along, and they just dumped everything at once. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, their loss, my gain. So
Yeah.
I jumped on it.
Okay.
The big trick on this one was we found that there was about $13,000 worth of plumbing work that needed to be done. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, that's it, I'm out. But we went back to the seller, and he lowered the cost by $20,000.
Perfect.
And I was like, "Ooh, that gives us a whole lot of extra room to do other
You
things."
retraded.
So
Yeah, that's awesome.
we were able to do a lot more with it.
Cool.
Awesome. And so, how much of the work did you do on this property
Yeah,
yourself?
personally, how much-
Did you go change out that ceiling fan, put the new one in?
No.
Did you refinish, sand the floors? No.
No.
All
Did everybody hear that? Because this is very important. This isn't HGTV. How many people watch those shows on TV, the really cool shows? Put the child locks on, you can't watch them anymore. This is reality. Jerry went to his vendor and wrote a check. Who can do that? Then you could be a real estate investor. That's what we're doing here.
I paid a guy to cut the lawn, but again, I didn't do it.
That's the point. That's what I want you to do. Pay other people.
And how'd you find the people to do the work for you on the property?
I found them through the vendor list.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Now, who agrees? Does that look a lot better on the right there? It's like night and day difference. Remember, one thing I'm going to teach you this weekend, best product, best price, best people. We are not slumlords. Everything looks beautiful. Everybody is going to be jealous. You understand? It's going to be not over rehab, but it's going to be great. Workforce housing. Okay?
Awesome. So we'll talk about the numbers here. So we'll just break it down. Basically, cash out of pocket, you came out about $50,000.
Right.
Okay. And so the rehab was $52,000. So how did you do that? How did you get the house and come out of pocket less than the rehab cost?
Well, we used hard money. This particular house, I was confused about it before, but so what happened was they presented the house to us, and we had to get a few bids. I got 3 different bids on the property and what it was going to cost to get everything up to the standards that we wanted, because this house needed to be the same. It needed to be comparable to the other properties that we looked at. So in other words, they went back and said, it's going to cost this much to get it looking like everything else in this neighborhood.
Okay.
So we did
So-
that to figure out what the rehab was.
So I'll explain this in basic. If you're new and you don't know what the word hard money is, it's a specialized lender. They're going to lend you all the money to buy the property, plus all the money to fix it up. So he doesn't have to come up with the money to fix it up. It's part of the loan. And I'll teach you about that this weekend. So he had to come up with $50,000.
Yep.
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 All right, and then so the rent is $1,875 a month, $22,500 a year. Cash flow is $188 per month, and that's a 4.4% return. Now that's with property management, right?
Right.
Perfect. Okay.
So he's totally hands off. He just paid somebody else to do everything for him, even the property management side. Okay.
Cool.
I was going to do it myself, then I got really busy.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the big thing, guys. He put out 50 grand, he's gonna make an extra 20 grand on top. That's about a 50% return. Who'd be okay with a 50% return right away? But here's the key, guys. What's happening with houses right now? This neighborhood's probably go up 10 to 15%, but it's not 10 to 15% on this. Let's just say it's 10%. It's 10% on this. Do you realize 1 year later it'll make an extra 26 grand on 50 grand? That's a 50% return every year. Who'd like to make a 50% return every year? So you see the power of that appreciation right now? So everybody's worried about what's going on with the economy and Joe Biden's economy. I love Joe Biden's economy. You know why? I'm making lots of money while I sleep. Who likes that? And well, how's he going to thank his renter every year? Raise the rent, make more and more money every single year.
That's right. All right, so you got 2 homes in your portfolio, totals out to just under $7,000 extra income for your family every year. Is that right?
Yep.
And
Tax free. Who'd like to have an extra $7,000 tax free a year? He gave himself a raise. He didn't have to ask his boss.
Oh, I know, that's a good feeling too.
It is.
Every day I go to work now, I'm kind of like got
And-
this little
and-
secret going on. Going,
Here's
yeah,
the big
no
question,
idea.
and you have all that equity too, which is great. Jerry, are you going to stop and never buy another house?
No. I
Is
already
it
got plans
addictive
for
once you
3 and
start
4.
doing it?
No, I got plans for 3 and 4. I know when.
So compare this to your 401k, your IRA, your TSP. Is this a better rate of return? Are you making more money? Are you sleeping better at night?
I don't have any of those.
Well, that's
it's,
good.
It's an infinitely better return. So awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how Lifestyles has changed your life.
Well, it's given me something to shoot for. I think one of the biggest thing is you just look at how you're using your money. I mean, every time I go to do something, I stop and I go, is this going to pay me anything? I mean, it's a short-term sensation of, oh, this is fun, or I like, you get some feeling from buying something. Or, I said, no, I'm tired of wasting my money on crap. I got enough crap in my house.
That's an industry word, crap.
Yeah, it's just, no. Man, if it can't pay me back, or as Del always says, if it doesn't cash flow, then I don't need it.
That's right. Yeah. So what would you say to the new people here, the visitors in the room? What would you say if you could just give them a sum up what you've learned?
I always hear people say this, if you could start sooner, would you? And Ray says, yes, I would have. In this situation, I didn't have any money, so I don't see how I could have started any sooner. But mine was just a passion. I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to just be another statistic. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if everybody runs away from me. I'm not going to live my life being enslaved. And so that's just it. I've got to do something. So, it was very difficult in the beginning, trying to decide, man, is this, this is a big step. But I was going, what choice do I have? What is my alternative? No one can present me an alternative that works. And just my own original house, watching the value of that going up through the roof, no one had to convince me. I'm like, that's it. I don't need any other convincing than that.
And now you have 3 all doing that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say get the information, but make sure it's the right information, it's timely, and it's, exact. The information you're going to get from this is going to be very detailed, and it's going to be so honed in like you can never imagine. There's a ton of information out there on the internet, but is it the right information?
Right.
Is it the timely information? Is it to your area?
Yeah.
That's what the mentors bring to you. It's everything is right now, and that's the best thing. I'm like, I can't even imagine. You cannot even conceive what questions you would never ask because you don't know to ask those questions. They will think of these things, and you'll oh, I never thought about it. As soon as I think I know something, they'll go, well, consider this. And I'm like, oh, I've got tons to learn. Mm-hmm. And I would say just get educated. Get to the 2-day. Start with a 2-day and just start digesting that stuff. It'll change your life.
Cool.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
All right, so what's coming up next for you? Got some short-term goals and some long-term goals. What are you going to do over the next 18 months?
Well, we should be able to, I'm hoping by the fall, we can probably do a 3rd property. We'll see.
Okay.
My family's taking a trip around to, my wife's from Vietnam. They're taking a trip. So they're going to be gone for about a month. So we'll see what comes up in the fall. But I'm looking at least doing 1 in the fall, hopefully. If not, then we'll do 2 next year.
Okay.
And really, it just depends on, I mean, I'm watching what's going on with these two houses, and I'm going,
Yeah. Might be time to sell that first one pretty
geez.
soon. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about that all the time. I'm going, man, we could just listen, do
Yeah,
two more.
exactly.
And interest rates are going to start going back up. They're already going up.
Yep.
So, man, don't wait. I mean,
Yep.
that was my thing. Even on this house right now, while we're doing they're doing the rehab. We're going to do the
refi.
Yeah, we're going to do the refi. I'm kicking my lender going, let's go. Let's wrap this up, man, because it's going up. And I don't want to pay any more
locked
money.
in,
It's like,
yep.
come on, hurry. So you're thinking, well, if you're going to do 2 or 3 more houses down the road, you need to be on it. You need to be thinking about that because they're not going to slow down.
Yeah.
So there's still a sense of urgency to get this moving because I'm not out of the woods. I've got started on this journey, but I've still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I still plan to be very aggressive.
So Jerry, you want to take some questions?
Sure.
And answer some. So we'll take 1 or 2 in the room and then 1 or 2 online. So anybody?
Leo.
Bueller, especially new folks. I want new folks if we can.
Just gonna ask, did you know that there was an incredible shortage of housing at the time?
Nope.
He
Somebody
said-
asked
he
the
said-
question,
oh.
you know there's incredible shortage of housing at the time. He said, nope. By the way, there is shortage of rentals, so guess what? That plays in our favor.
Yep.
At least all across America, pretty much on that one.
Yep.
You have anything online? Nothing yet? Anybody? We're good?
You wanted to give a shout out to some of the people
Sure.
that were on your team there.
forgot about
So.
that.
Yeah, and one more thing to what you just asked. I have people around me and I hear them talking. It's funny because I'll just stay quiet in a room when the people are talking. I'll start hearing people talking about real estate and, my Uncle Freddie did real estate 30 years ago and he's a loser. I'm like, why are you talking? But people will talk about all
You
the
need to
stuff.
get an
The thing I
effective
hear
map.
people say all the time is, man, there's not enough houses. I can't find anything. And I'm starting going, dude, I see stuff all the time.
Yep.
How are you not seeing it? But they're not looking at the right stuff. They're all looking at what everybody's looking at. It's just
Yeah.
what's on realtor.com
And we
or
teach
whatever.
you how to find those properties that are those opportunity properties, where to go to look for those, and how to evaluate those, the whole bit. So.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
people look at that house. You saw it. People will just, I don't want that one. Why? There's a dumpster parked in the driveway. Why do I care?
Yeah.
It's not going to be there forever.
Right?
That's right.
Yep, you see those opportunities while other people are like, ugh. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Awesome.
All right.
Well, let's give him a hand. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Nicole, as well. Oh, wait, we got a question. We got a question now? Okay.
We did get one last minute question.
Okay.
And it's basically, could you just reiterate what your cash out of pocket was for this one? Thank you.
Right around 50, right?
Yeah, 52, about 52,000.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome. All right, give him a hand. Thank you.